Hey everyone, welcome back and happy Wednesday. Okay, guys, so hopefully you caught our. Do you guys see my elbows? This is crazy. Hopefully you guys caught our recap for Vanderpump Rules with our girls over at US Hollywood. We had the best time. And if you didn't, then go back and be a part of that. Now, with that, I want to just share a few things with you since we're on the second channel. There we go. Um, Vanderpump Rules stuff. So before we jump in, you guys know how this works. If you haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Don't forget to hit that notification bell, and let's jump right in. Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it. Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it. Okay, guys, this is where we have to start. Thank you to Reality Blurb. Raquel Leviss opened up about what led her to end her relationship with Tom Sandoval. And this was on the latest episode of her podcast. So, as she looked back on a package that she received from her now ex flame during her months long stint in a mental health treatment center, The Meadows, she shared how Sandoval insulted her and proved that he did not love her while also labeling him a narcissistic asshole who targeted her with love bombing. When I was at the Meadows, Tom and I would send letters to each other. So I got a big package. There were 3 items in there: a friendship lamp where you tap it and it changes colors, Bluetooth connected, 1 lamp per person. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's actually a really cool gift. And the second thing that was in the box was an Us magazine where we were on the cover and a little square on the top right. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've always wanted to be on the cover of a magazine. I didn't think it was going to be like this, but still cool. That's a stupid thing to say. And then the third item and there was a letter. Now, after saving the letter for later, Raquel ultimately began reading it and came to a big realization. I started feeling sick to my stomach because the letter was so insulting to me and the work that I was doing at this treatment facility. He was basically saying, in all the years that I've known you, I've never seen you so dependent on a place. And he was trying to convince me to leave the Meadows and come back to him. But according to Raquel, she wasn't ready to leave treatment at the time and expressed to Sandoval that she didn't think that she was safe to herself if she left at that point. He tried to convince me to leave anyways, and that's when I really knew that this person does not love me. And this is a love bomb tactic to try to have this control over me. But while Raquel initially wanted to reach out to Sandoval to explain why she was no longer interested in pursuing a relationship with him, her therapist advised her against doing so. So I just didn't call him again and I blocked his number. And, some people would consider that ghosting. And I think he was hurt by it because, he didn't get any closure. But during another segment of the podcast, she spoke of 2 narcissistic assholes that she dated in her 20s. I fell in love with one narcissistic asshole, and after that relationship ended, after 5 years of being in that relationship, I fell into the hands of another narcissistic asshole. Oof. While looking back at her romance with her first partner, being James Kennedy, Raquel confirmed the man had told her that he loved her 1 week after they met. And although their long distance relationship included fireworks and excitement at its start, things ultimately took a turn due to the way that he would treat other people and the inappropriate manner in which he'd speak to her. Now, moving on to Sandoval, Raquel said that in that situation, I felt like he was really giving me this undivided attention. I was able to express my emotions and he could really understand what I was saying. And it seemed like it was on a deeper level than what I experienced before. And everything else went out the window. All my morals went out the window. And he became like the most important person to me. And, we would go on trips together and stuff like that. And I considered that like a form of love bombing. I think that there's like a part with living in a fantasy. And I don't know, for some reason, whenever I'm dating guys like this, they become the most important person to me. Wow. I mean, she actually spoke on this, and I'm going to play a clip for you guys so you can hear it for yourself. Thank you to Reads and Receipts. Here we go.
When I was at the Meadows, Tom and I would send letters to each other. So I got a big package. There was 3 items in there: a friendship lamp where you like tap it and it changes colors, Bluetooth connected, 1 lamp per person. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's actually a really cool gift. And then the second thing that was in that box was an US magazine, and we were on the front cover in a little square on the top right. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've always wanted to be on the cover of a magazine. I didn't think it was going to be like this, but like still cool, right? And then the third item that was in there was a letter. And I was like, okay, I'm going to take this letter with me and read it later. And so eventually I got to reading the letter, and then I started feeling sick to my stomach because the letter was so insulting to me and the work that I was doing at this treatment facility. He was basically saying, in all the years that I've known you, I've never seen you so dependent on a place. And he was trying to convince me to leave the Meadows and come back to him. And I knew that that wasn't right for me for various reasons, but one of them I expressed to him, like, I don't think that gosh, this is heavy. I don't think I'm safe to myself if I leave right now at this point. And he tried to convince me to leave anyway. And that's when I really knew that this person does not love me. And this is a love bomb tactic to try to have this control over me. So if somebody is in a position like that where the light bulb clicks, how do you approach it?
Yeah. You can't be afraid to lose what's not good for you.
When I was at the Meadows, Tom and I would send letters to each other. So I got a big package. There was 3 items.
Okay, but then there was this one.
I've also thrown around the phrase best friend when it comes to you and Ariana. You've already talked about this before, but I want to know, what did you look at your relationship with Ariana like?
Okay, so Lisa mentioned the best friend thing, saying Tom wasn't thinking of shagging Ariana's best friend or whatever. I think for me, when people use the word best friend to define Ariana and my friendship, I tend to automatically get defensive with that, because for me, I didn't consider her a best friend, and I didn't think that she considered me a best friend. You know, like that's why I'm saying like we weren't best friends. But your level of friendship doesn't really determine how bad the action is. Like the action is the action, and it's unacceptable no matter what the relationship is. But I also acknowledge that maybe for Ariana, she viewed me as a best friend, even though my definition of a best friend would be somebody that I'm calling often and like, you know, talking to, filling in details of my day. And we didn't have that type of friendship. So when the term best friend was being put out there, like that's the reason why I wanted to defend myself.
Do you feel like they weaponized that phrase towards you?
Yeah, I feel like they painted more of a diabolical picture with saying that we were best friends. And it was like that ultimate betrayal, which it still is an ultimate betrayal, honestly, because she trusted me as a friend. And I had a duty to her as a friend to not overstep this clear boundary. Like, yes, I knew that Tom and Ariana were in a relationship, yet I acted on my impulses without consideration to how it would affect her feelings and how it would emotionally damage her and her self-worth. So I really am sorry for crossing that boundary and violating Ariana's trust. As we talk about it more too, I feel like maybe I was getting defensive as a way to cognitively distance myself, because it is such a difficult concept for me to wrap my brain around. Like, how could I actually be capable of doing something like that, betraying a friend like that? So I really do want to take accountability for my actions.
Some people have.
Wow. Okay. Guys, I want to hear what your thoughts are. Oh, ay. Well, Welcome back to Up and Adam Channel 2. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody except for this shit show. And yeah, pop off in the comments and let me know what you think. Smash that like button, show some love, and happy Wednesday, guys. Love you guys.